All right, let's get this started. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's threat to subpoena President Trump in the Russia investigation, allegedly, according to Rudy Giuliani, sets up a potentially historic clash. But can the Special Counsel subpoena President Trump or any president? Here to weigh in is former Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Andrew McCarthy. Andrew, let me ask that question. Does he have the power to subpoena the president and execute it?
Well, he certainly has the power. Whether the president actually has to testify is another matter. The president, if it gets to that point, the president has executive privilege, and I assume he would assert it. And then it would become a question of, could Mueller show what needs to be shown before he could coerce the president into testifying?
Who does he show it to?
Well, in the first instance, I don't think this is something that ought to be going on between a prosecutor and counsel for the president. Normally, this is where Justice Department leadership jumps in to sort of police these things. For example, there are certain things that the law says that you can get from a journalist in the way of information or from a defense lawyer. But you, as a prosecutor, you can't just willy-nilly issue a subpoena to a journalist or a defense lawyer. You have to satisfy the Justice Department that there's a serious crime and that there's evidence that you can only get from those sources. Mm-hmm. And even then, it's a reach whether they'll actually give you authority to do it or not. Here, I think you're dealing with the president, whose job in terms of governance of the country, in terms of national security, is obviously much more consequential.
Yeah.
And they should not, at the Justice Department, allow Mueller to even request an interview unless they can show that there's a serious crime, that President Trump is somehow complicit in it, and that President Trump has information that the special counsel can't get from any other source. If they can't show those things, the Justice Department should not allow Mueller even to request an interview.
So Rod Rosenstein, he's in charge of it. You're saying that if he is executing his authority, that's where this stops. But we understand from the one-on-one session that they want the president not only to not answer in writing, they want him to answer face-to-face, and they want him under oath.
Well, that's what you would want if you were the prosecutor. That's only natural. If you had a witness in the case who is a subject of the investigation or a witness in the investigation, I think they told him he's not a target, you would want that. You'd want an arrangement where he'd be under oath. But because he's the president, they shouldn't be allowed to get it unless they can make that high showing.
Real quick, did Rudy Giuliani help or hurt yesterday?
I think it really hurts to make a big issue out of what at most is a campaign finance violation. The Obama campaign in 2008 committed a campaign finance violation that was about 20 times bigger than the amount of money we're talking about here, and they got to settle that with a fine to the FEC. I would just try to keep that quiet and try to settle it and not fight it. I think you fight Mueller, but you don't fight this.
Right. We'll see where it goes, because Mueller's not backing down. The president's got a very aggressive legal team. And Andrew McCarthy says they have a lot to stand on when it comes to repelling the subpoena request, if it comes to that. Andrew McCarthy, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.